Like you said about front office support.
Yes.
If you can give us an example, how does that happen, or what was your role in that?
Yes. So as we know, like traders are executing a lot of trades. Like we have like different kind of like basket. Like so you can trade it electronic, you can trade it at a core level, you can trade it at a like ETF level. Like so
Okay.
we have a like different product in that thing. Like
If somebody wants to enter into risk management,
yes.
especially who are graduates who have done say BCom or any other course, not FRM, say normal graduate, how they can enter into a risk management space?
Sure. So like as we know, like data is something. Data is very broad.
Hmm.
So first of all, you should be good with your analysis. You should able to differentiate what kind of data we are using it. Like as we know, like there are different kinds of like data, nominal data.
See, you have also done FRM SCR. Okay, so how does this certification has helped you, okay, in your career to move to different teams or to get good opportunities? How does that happen?
These certification help you to understand the not only the basic, but able to understand how one risk is related with the other risk.
Hmm.
Like people do have perception that one risk is not related with the other risk, but trust me, each and every risk is related with the other. Like
There's some
be it
correlation,
market
yeah.
risk, be it credit risk, be it operational risk, even be it climate risk as well. Like
And somebody who wants to get into, say, risk management space, any risk basically, what are the key technical skill sets that you would recommend, or key soft skills, interpersonal skills that are needed for somebody to enter into
okay.
the space?
So technical skill, I must say like they should know Python, they should know SQL, they should know Tableau. Along with that, they should know
Now, there are so many people you must be interacting who are planning to appear for interviews for risk management and all. What are the common mistakes they do? Hello, guys. I hope everybody is doing good. Hi, this is Ganesh Nayak. I help finance professionals and students to excel in their career and become a better version of themselves. And I also help students preparing for competitive exams in finance like CFA, FRM, and SCR. And today I am with one of the person who's already cleared FRM, SCR, and the new certification RAI. And he's already working in an MNC. He's going to be talking about his journey of working in an IB or an MNC and what role he's doing right now. So we have with us Rahul. Rahul, thank you very much for taking out time. And for the benefit of the audience, if you can give a brief that how you started from an analyst role and now at an AVP role. So what has been your journey?
so first of all, I would like to say thank you, Ganesh, for inviting me on this forum. Like, and it will be a pleasure for me to give brief about my journey. And I am ready to help anyone like who is looking to have any sort of guidance in IB. So my journey is full of excitement. Like, so
Okay.
I started my journey as an analyst in the governance team, and then where we were responsible to prepare a certain regulatory report which is
Mm-hmm.
related to the exposure, which is related to certain sort of fails
Mm-hmm.
across different products.
Okay.
Then I tried my hand on that thing. Then as a part of like mobility, like I take mobility into the like front office trade support group where I was supporting the traders
Okay.
across the region. The good part about being in IB is you can interact with different people, different traders across the region, like not
Okay.
limited to India, but you can have the exposure globally. Like so in that role I was interacting with a trader who handling different market,
Mm-hmm.
different product. Specifically they are handling equities, they are
Okay.
handling FX product, even they are handling the OTC along with the options. Like
Okay.
so I know like we studied a lot about options during our
Ah.
preparation, but there I got the exposure to learn how those options executed in the market and what exactly happened with those options
Hmm.
during the expiry on that day, like how
Okay.
to settle that trade. And then I cleared my exam. Then I again take mobility into the risk management, and as of now I am a part of data governance team where we
Okay.
are responsible to manage the data quality. And we have to interact with different regulators. We have
Hmm.
to ensure whatever policy we are going to get it from the regulators, we have to implement across the firm.
Okay. Now for the audience, like you said about front office support,
Yes.
if you can give us an example, how does that happen, or what was your role in that? That would be really helpful for them.
Yes, so as we know, like traders are executing a lot of trades. Like we have like different kind of like basket. Like so you can trade it electronic, you can trade it at a core level, you can trade it at a like ETF level. Like so
Okay.
we have a like different product in that thing. Like and of course, we are prone to error. Like, so it's our responsibility to ensure whatever trade we are booking it in the front end system,
Okay.
it should flow correctly in the settlement applications as well.
Okay.
And sometimes like a trader is booking out like 500 shares, but a client recognize 5,000 shares. So these kind of like mismatches, we are the one who is handling it.
Okay.
If there is some broken flows between the system, we are the one who is responsible to see where is that trade going on. Like, so if we are missing any trade downstream, we are the one who is booking those trades manually in the system. And if we are onboarding any new trade, new client into the system, and we don't have the full flow in the system, we are the one who is taking care of those things. Like,
Okay. So, for example, a trader is booking a trade to buy a particular stock.
right,
Okay. He has put in the order in the
right,
trading system.
right, right.
And he also does it in the risk system, or you will have to do it on the risk
So
system.
they do it in the risk system. We are the one who is doing it into the downstream system.
Okay. So, you're making sure that.
Segregations of duties, you can say.
Ha, right, right.
Yes.
So basically, once the basic details of the trades are been
Right,
put,
right.
the other details has to be
Right,
filled by you,
right.
and it goes into the system where it goes to the back
Yes,
office.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
And if
this-
there are any discrepancies between those trades, we are the one who need to interact with the like client support group. They
Okay.
interact with the client because there are different persons who are involved in those trade cycle. Like,
Right.
of course, trader is one who is going to book out the trade, but to whom we need to settle that trade, that is the different person. So they are going to
Okay.
get different instruction. Maybe front office recognize 500 shares, but according to the back end, they recognize 5,000 shares. So that is the kind of, even sometimes we do get discrepancy on the price as well. Like,
So you will interact with the trader also directly.
yes, we interact with the trader as well. We interact with the client support group as well. We interact with the support group. So we are the one. We act as a central point of contact for everyone. Like,
Okay.
so if there are anything goes wrong with that trade, everyone reach out to us. Like, and if is any PNL on back of that thing as well. Like, sometimes like we booked out trade, but client is unable to recognize that trade. We are the one who need to take care of that trade into the error account. Like,
Okay.
and we need to unwind the position.
Okay. And you will. So this team generally sits with the front office, or is it basically sitting in the back office?
You can say it's middle office.
Acha.
It's
Okay.
more
So
of a like
middle
middle
office.
office, not into the front office, not into the back office, but into the middle office.
Okay. Now let us move to the next part, which is the risk governance part.
Right.
So where does this team sits in the entire risk management structure, and what is the importance of this team?
Okay. So we are the one like who are supporting the risk manager. Like, they are the one like who is setting up the limit. They are the one like who is deciding what should be the exposure, what should be our risk appetite. They are the one like, but they do require the data. Like, they are not the one who is going to interact with the regulators. They are not the one who is going to comply with the policy. Like, it's our responsibility. We need to understand in order to comply with that policy. These are the steps which we need to do. So this is a like not exactly the supporting team, but they are the like core risk management.
Okay.
Risk management, exactly, we are doing it. They are the risk manager who are taking the decision out of our findings.
So whatever data they see in the risk system,
Right.
that is basically managed by you,
Right.
and it can be liquidity risk, credit
Right.
risk, any
Right.
any type
Any
of
sort
risk.
of data, like any sort of data. If you see, even if we are getting data from any sort of like manual Excel file, we need to validate that file as well. Like, they just simply can't do any sort of transformation in the Excel file. We need to validate whether that transformation is material, or is it just they are just doing simply copy paste kind of like thing. Like, we have to validate everything. Like, because according to the like recent regulations, what we have it in the IB, we need to understand the flow, system flow analysis. Like, we need to understand the data lineage, how data flow from one system to other system. So that is the kind of like responsibility we have it.
So the basal requirements for
Yes, yes.
clear
That's-
data
yes,
is
yes.
what
Data
you guys
architecture.
are. Data, yes.
Data should be complete. Data should be consistent. Whatever data you are getting, it should be along with the like defined SLA, what is agreed as per the process. You can say it. Yes.
Now, what all different teams are there within a risk management team, apart from the data governance?
Yes. So if you see, like, we have like different silos, like starting with the credit risk, then we have team in liquidity risk, we have team who is validating the models, that is model risk. Then we have team, of course, the one data team, the other is reporting team. Then we have market risk, of course. And I guess we do have like other teams as well, like so operational risk, whatever you are actually studying in the,
FRM,
FRM, we have the team in our IB.
Okay, interesting. Now, if somebody wants to enter into risk management,
Yes.
or say specifically into data governance, okay, how he can break through into that stream, especially who are graduates who have done say BCom or any other courses, not FRM, say normal graduate, how they can enter into a risk management space?
Sure. So, like, as we know, like, data is very broad.
Hmm.
So, first of all, you should be good with your analysis. You should able to differentiate what kind of data we are using it. Like, as we know, like, there are different kinds of like data, nominal data, ordinal data, data with different interval. Like, you are able to understand that what exactly data I'm using it like, and what exactly the end user is looking to have it like.
Okay.
So first is you are able to differentiate between the data. Second is you are able to understand how to extract that data. Like, we are storing our data into the like very large data warehouses. You should know the basic SQL where you can do some sort of like coding to get that data. Like, I'm not talking about the Python, but the basic
Basic
SQL, like
SQL.
where you are able to write the condition to get the data from the data warehouses. So these are the two things like which I personally feel like individual should have it if they are looking to pursue their career into the data management.
Okay, okay. And when we look at risk data in any big investment bank, okay, so if suppose anything goes wrong in that team, or basically the data is incorrect, how does that impact? So I want to ask this question explicitly from the perspective for people who might enter into the space in the
Right,
future,
right.
that what is the impact of their role?
Right. So first of all, like you just simply can't take the data and use it. Like, we have to ensure whatever data we are consuming it, we should have a like proper control in place. Like,
Okay.
control in terms of completeness, consistency, like accuracy, timeliness. We should
Okay.
have a like certain rule in the system which are running on daily basis, or maybe the frequency you can define it. And if there are any exceptions, you can review those exceptions and you can set a bandwidth that I can expect 5% exceptions out of that data, but
Okay.
that data has to be 95% correct. Like, so you need to understand the accuracy of that data. And
Okay.
if there are any exceptions out of it, you need to make your stakeholder aware about that thing, that the data which we are consuming it has some sort of issue, and these are the challenges. Like, so the communication is very important. Like, you just simply know, you know everything, like, but it's your responsibility to make
Okay.
everyone aware about that thing, that these are the exceptions. If they are okay with it, then they can use it. Like, of course, like, you have data where you are missing certain data points in between. So there are different methodology by which you can get those values in between. You can derive those values by averaging out the other values. Like, we have different methods to get those values. Like, but it's very important to understand that the end use of that data, to understand the
How
end
does
use
it
of the,
impact
yes.
their decision making?
So, like, if you know, like, this data is going to use for the VAR calculation, you know this has financial impact. If this
Okay.
data is going to use to define the credit worthiness of a like a client, then you should understand the impact. Like, if I'm doing something wrong being in this process, this will have a direct impact on the risk management decision. Like,
And
so,
also the
yes.
data goes to regulators, right? So,
Right, right.
so there is
And
also an
we do
impact.
have like audit as well. Like, so audit will
Okay.
come and then they will review your data
Okay.
parameter. They will review like how well your data is. Like, the first question what they ask is like, what is the data quality checks you guys are having it in your data? Like,
Okay.
yes,
And when we say data, so is it Bloomberg data that we are taking?
right.
Just for basic understanding, what are the different source of data that any company would use?
Of course. So we do have like a different streamlines. Like, of course, one is the external data, you can get it. The second is of course the internal data which company is publishing on their
Okay.
portal. Like, that's the
Okay.
second data. Of course, the third is the like company's report, what you are getting it on the annual basis. Fourth is
Okay.
through the press you are getting it. Like, and like there are different open sources as well, like through which you can access the data. Of course, Bloomberg you can't access it openly. You have to pay a subscription fees and you can get that data. But there are open sources as well. But
Okay.
before accessing that data through the open source, you need to understand the terms and conditions. There are
Okay.
certain terms and conditions related to that open data source. You need
Right.
to understand those terms and conditions, then only you can use it. You need to because you need to ensure whatever data you are using it, you are allowed to use that data for your analysis,
Okay.
because there are some data which are meant for students, there are some data which are meant for the financial institution. So you just simply can't take data from open sources and use it for your financial analysis and prepare the future scenarios, do the stress testing, and take this decision. You need to understand whether that data is meant for you or not.
Okay. And so you also interact with the model development team
Right,
also,
right.
because they
Model
will
data,
be
yes.
taking the data to create
Right,
VAR model or valuation
right,
models.
right, right.
So do they, I'm just trying to understand, once the model is created, do they share the model with you to checks, do some checks or verification?
Not with us, but we do have a like team like who are going to validate that model, like who is going to test different scenarios in that model to see the accuracy of that model. Like
Model validation
yes,
testing.
model validation you can see, and after model validation as well, like we do have like annual checks of that model as well, like because maybe the last year that model was working fine with that data, and markets are so volatile, and so is the data.
Right.
So you need to understand even if that model is valid for this year as well. Like so, we have to do the annual validation of that model as well.
Right.
So there is a team who is doing those annual validations of those models, and of course be with the data as well. Like if I am using any data last year as well, I need to validate that data for this year as well, whether that data is still valid for this year or not.
Okay, okay. And when we talk about, say, you have also done FRM SCR. Okay, so how does this certification has helped you, okay, in your career to move to different teams or to get good opportunities? How does that has happened?
Of course these certification do help, like these certification help you to understand the not only the basic but able to understand how one risk is related with the other risk, like people do have perception that one risk is not related with the other risk, but trust me, each and every risk is related with the other, like
There's
be
some
it
correlation,
market
yeah.
risk, be it credit risk, be it operational risk, even be it climate risk as well. Like if you study SCR, then you know how climate risk can impact the other tranches of the risk as well, like
Right.
be it credit, be it market, be it liquidity. Like
Right.
so if you are doing these certification, you are able to understand the basic, the intercorrelation between these risks, and of course the theory knowledge what you have it, like and how you can implement it in the real world. Like there are certain case study which are mentioned in these courses. These case study help you to understand what will be the real scenario in the IB or in the financial institution which you can came across in the future, and how you can tackle these. So
Okay,
these
okay.
certification do help.
And you have done RAI, which is risk and AI.
Right.
What was the reason that you went for this certification? And how do you see that it is going to help you?
Of course. So if you see the advancement in the technology, the recent transformation, what we have it in the technology, be it in form of Chat GPT, be it form of Gemini, be it in form of other transformation, what we are going to have it like.
Right.
So everyone is talking about AI, ML, Gen AI, like they are looking to have some sort of chatbot. Even if you are going to raise any sort of like IT ticket, they have a like chatbot. There we have a like predefined category. So the reason for me doing this course is basically to understand how these things work. Like, and if we are going to implement AI and ML in risk management, then we need to understand we have the advantage. That is one thing, but we need to understand the disadvantage as well.
Okay.
And the important part is like if you are implementing anything in the risk management, you need to understand how can we govern that thing. Of course government is going to create certain policies around that thing, what you can do it, what you can't do it. So we need a team in order to implement those policy across the firm as well. Like by doing this certification you can understand what will be the future, what is the history, and what are the current scenario available in the market,
Okay.
because everything is related with the AI. Like if you go in any field, be it banking, be it financial institution, be it anything, there we can see the involvement of AI.
Okay. Okay. And somebody who wants to get into, say, risk management space, any risk basically, what are the key technical skill sets that you would recommend, or key soft skills, interpersonal skills that are needed for somebody to enter into
Okay.
the space?
So technical skill, I must say like they should know Python, they should know SQL, they should know Tableau. Along with that, they should know the different coding. Like if they want to do the analytic work, they should know the coding. If they want to make their career into the like a core risk, be it market, be it credit, they should know the terminology which is going to be used in those risks. Like if I talk about market, they should know what is expected shortfall, what is war, how are we going to calculate that war.
Right.
If I talk about credit, they should know what is exposure at default, what is loss given default, what is probability of default, and how can we calculate the recovery rate out of LGD. So they know the basic, like, and if I talk about the liquidity, they should know the different ratio, what is available in the market, and how can it impact the financial decision. So these are the basic which individual should know before jumping into the any sort of interview related to the risk management. And in terms of soft skill, they have a like good communication skill. They should able to articulate their message in a very concise way, because
Right.
you just know what you are supposed to do, but you are not able to convince your stakeholder. And I guess The third one is stakeholder management. But I believe this is something which you can get it over a period of time. You just simply can't have it
Right.
without working into the IB or without working into it into financial
So
institution.
this part is very important, especially for people who are going to work in big MNC.
Right.
Because I'll tell you my experience. I was working in an Indian company and I moved to a multinational company. And in the Indian company, my manager was sitting right next to me. And over there, I had one manager sitting in
Reporting
US,
law, yes.
one manager sitting in Japan. Likewise, so we had so many. It was a matrix organization.
Right.
So you need to understand the time zone, understand the culture, okay, and
Understand
then
their psychology as well.
and then interact basically.
Like if you see the people who are from Japan, they are very disciplined. Like they
Yes.
know the things in and out. Like they are supposed to do their work on their own. Like so, like different people, different psychology. You need to understand their psychology, their culture, like their language. Like so,
Mhm.
this is something which you can get exposed when you are into the MNC. Like
Right, right. And the opportunities are also there.
yes,
If
yes.
you are groomed enough, you will be able to pick up those opportunities also very
Right.
fast.
Like they will offer you a lot of opportunity. Like they will give you a lot of opportunity. They are very transparent about the opportunity.
Hmm.
So and they are very open about those opportunity. Like they will
Yes.
offer you. But this is something which we need to prove that you are able to grab that opportunity. You are the perfect fit for them for that opportunity. Like
Right.
this is something which we need to show it to them. Like
Yeah,
and
because
this is something you can achieve it by doing proper communication to them. That
yes.
these are the skill set what I have it, these are the skill set which I look to have it in the upcoming years. Like
Hmm.
these are my personal goal, this is the professional goal,
Right.
and how these are aligned in between. So
Right.
this is something you need to communicate it to them, that by taking that opportunity, how can you achieve your personal goal as well.
Now, why this is so important? Because a lot of students or people who are giving CFA, FRM, they are more focused on the technical aspect.
Right.
They don't focus on the
Soft
interpersonal
skills.
skills or negotiation skills or presentation skills, which are very, very important when you go and work in
This
any
is
big
equally
organization.
important. This is equally important
Yeah.
as technical.
Now, when you look at, you must be taking a lot of interviews, right, of people who are
Right.
coming. So, what are the top 5 interview questions that you generally ask people, anybody? Not specific to any role, but general 5 questions that you generally ask.
Not top, but the common question I can tell you. Of course, your question should be based on the JD for which you are interviewing it, but
Right.
there are certain common question which is common for the risk management. The first is like we need to understand if that person knows about risk, like because whenever we say risk,
Hmm.
people think about the negative impact, like but
Huh.
risk is not something. It always talk about the negative impact. It tell you that this is a chance of happening the positive impact as well
And negative
and
impact.
negative impact, but the probability is different.
Right.
So we are looking to have whether that person is having that mindset, because risk is like they only talk about negative thing. Like no, it's always about the consequences of having both the events. Like
Okay.
so, even if the event is happening on the positive side, you have the impact. If the event is on the negative side, then also you are going to have the impact. So
Right.
it's very important to have that understanding. In
Okay.
both the sides, you are going to have the impact. Of course, on the positive side, you have it's basically based on your exposure.
Right.
What kind of exposure do you hold? So
Hmm.
that is first thing. And second is we are looking to have understanding on the key factor a person should take while prioritizing a particular risk. Like so I know like there are scenario where you have identified different risks.
Hmm.
Like there are 5 risks related to this process. You just simply can't fix all these 5 in one go.
Okay.
How are you going to prioritize those risks? Like what are the methodology you are going to use it, like because you need to tackle one by one, like max 2 at a time, 3 at a time. But if you have identified 10 risks, you should know how are you going to rate those 10 risks based on their urgency,
Hmm.
based on their criticality. This is the kind of understanding which we are looking to have it in that candidate. And the third
Okay.
is of course some basic knowledge on RCSA.
Acha.
RCSA, yes.
Okay. Risk control and self
Right,
assessment.
right.
Okay.
And of course, the basic terminology on residual risk, inherent risk, and then what do you mean by market risk, credit risk.
Hmm.
So they should know these terminology, even if they are going to be part of a particular risk, but they should know what other risk stripes do.
Okay, okay. Now there are so many people you must be interacting who are planning to appear for interviews for risk management and all. What are the common mistakes they do
Okay,
in their entire search journey?
right. Let me tell you that as well. Like, so first of all, they need to understand the requirement in the job description and what skill set do they have it. Like, is it aligned? if there are any mismatches, they need to understand that as well, like, and they need to understand the deviation as well, like that they are requiring me to have the knowledge 100% on that topic, but I am at 80%.
Hmm.
So there is a deviation of 20%.
Hmm.
They don't understand that difference. Like they are like,
Okay.
each and every role which is related to risk management belongs to me, but that is not the case. They need to
Okay.
understand their skill set, they
Okay.
need to understand their expertise, and the roles and responsibility what is mentioned in the GD. They need to understand that as well. Maybe in certain role you require basic SQL, basic Python, which is fine. But there are certain role where you require the advanced knowledge in the, and you just know the
This is a
basic
knowledge gap, basically.
knowledge gap which they don't understand
Right.
it. Like
Right.
they need to do that sort of analysis, they need to do the analysis on their strength, they need to do the analysis on their weakness, and how can they overcome those weakness.
Okay. Okay. And any more mistakes that you feel that normally people do with their CV, with their interviews, anything?
I just tell you, like they should be very honest about their
Okay.
job experience, what they have it like be real. Whatever you are, just be real. Like whatever you are writing it in the CV, you should able to justify those things. Like, and you should able to understand that how my personal goal, like future personal goal, will going to assign with the company's goal. Like
Hmm.
maybe if you are looking to change the job in next 1 year, you should let them know in advance that this will be my goal. I will move to the abroad. Like transparency, I can tell you, the transparency and proper communication. You are not supposed to tell a lie like that I will be in this company for next 5 years. Like be real.
Okay. So you might change roles within the
You, yes, yes,
organization, and normally people do
yes,
it.
yes. Like I
Yes.
will take mobility after 1 year, after one
Hmm.
and a half years. So be real with your personal goal. Like
Okay. And with respect to the SCR certification, how do you feel that sustainability risk or climate related risk is going to impact banks, global banks or Indian banks also?
so, if you see extreme weather conditions and transition to lower carbon economy can impact the asset value.
Hmm.
And if it impact on the asset value, then it will impact the credit worthiness of a particular counterparty as well, like
Right.
to whom you are doing the business, to whom you are exposed to. Like so, you need to understand how this event can impact the client
Okay.
and the exposure what we have it like. That's why it's very important, because as I told you that climate risk is related with different sort of risk, like it has a impact on market, it has impact on liquidity. So you need to understand, usually people do write that they don't have impact on climate, like,
Hmm.
but in reality they do have. But the only thing they need to understand, how can this thing impact their business, be it
Right.
bank, be it financial institution, be it IB, be it any sort of institution. They need to understand, of course they have certain exposure, and they need to calculate if something went wrong in
Hmm.
this region, what is going to be the impact on their profit and losses.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. And any important advice that you have got in your career which has helped you to grow?
Of course, I guess the first thing is like you should always open to take the feedback. Feedback is something which is going to help you in order to rectify your mistake, in order to understand what are your areas of improvement.
Hmm.
I have seen many people who are not open for their feedback. Like if you have given them the feedback, they become very rebellious and they don't even ready to accept that thing. Like so the first thing is you should understand that if someone is giving you the feedback, that's for your betterment, and you
Okay.
should be open with that thing. Of course, sometimes you don't agree with that feedback, you can ask for the instances.
Right.
Like if you are giving me that point, like can you just give me the instance where you observed my this behavior,
Right.
something like that. So constant feedback is very important in order to grow in your career, in terms of professional life as well, in terms of your personal life as well. Like
Hmm.
you should plan your year, like this year this is the skill set which I want to achieve.
Hmm.
Proper planning is very important, and proper communication with your manager, with your management is very important. Of course they will be very supportive in that as well, but if you are not going to let them know that this is what you want to achieve it, then how would they able to support it?
That's a very important point.
Yes,
Very interesting also. If you cannot communicate, nobody will come to
right.
know where you want to go.
Yes, and I have seen many people like they're like I want to do FRM, but they are not letting their manager know that I am going to appear for FRM by this year, and they are expecting support as well. Like, but if you don't let them know that you are appearing for FRM, you need some time off, you need some sort of like support in order to complete your portion.
Right.
Do let them know. They are always there to help you.
Okay. And at what point in your career you felt that you're ready to take up leadership roles? And how do somebody should identify that?
Okay. That's very interesting question. So I guess first is when you think you have the functional knowledge.
Hmm.
But of course, if you are looking to have some sort of leadership role, then there are team who are going to report to you, like, and you should know what that team does. You should know the functional knowledge about that thing. That's first thing. Second is of course the good communication skill, where you are able to tackle with different stakeholder.
Okay.
You are able to convey you convey your message to them. That is second thing. And of course the third one, I told you about feedback, where you know you are able to take the feedback from your upper management as well, and from the layer to which is going to report to you, like, so you
Okay.
are the middleman for them. Like, you need to communicate your message to the upper management as well and to the lower management as well.
Okay.
So effective communication is also very important. And the third is like when you know that you can grab that opportunity, you are ready to take that risk. Like, of course, being in that leadership role, we need to understand what is the perfect fit for me. Like, so I have two opening and these are the four candidates. You are able to evaluate that which candidate is going to be fit for me. Like, you are able to take that decision. So I guess that is something which you are looking to have it in order to have a leadership role.
Okay, wonderful. And I mean, thank you, Rahul, I mean, for this conversation because this data governance roles
Right.
or the front office support role that you have done, a lot of people are not aware about that these roles are available.
Right.
And especially your experience into the industry will guide them with respect to how they should look at their career.
Right.
Right. So thank you again for taking
Thank you,
out time
Ganesh.
and talking to us.
Thank
This
you,
is going to
Ganesh.
be really, really helpful for our audience.